Learning to drive is an exciting experience for many people, and so is buying your first car. Although you might be eager to show off those driving skills, it is important that you follow the rules of the road to keep yourself and others safe. Because let's face it, roads can be very dangerous. In fact, every year, roughly 1.3 million people die in car crashes worldwide. While some traffic accidents are serious, others are just plain ridiculous. These are bizarre car accidents that will make your jaw drop. If your car has ever gotten totaled, you've had the unpleasant experience of having to wait for the tow truck to come and pick up the vehicle and its remains. If the vehicle is too severely damaged and would be a loss to repair, it will be taken to the tow yard. Once it goes unclaimed for 30 days, the vehicle will be auctioned or scrapped for its metal. This driver clearly didn't want to go through all of that, so they decided to kill two birds with one stone by crashing and landing right in the garbage receptacle at the same time. No tow truck needed. Or maybe they just thought it was an old piece of junk and wanted to get rid of it. And here's the interesting part. Several other drivers have done this as well. So this seems to be a well-known strategy to get rid of your vehicle. Either way, what a great way to save money, time, and a trip to the junkyard. Have you ever made the mistake of pressing the brakes instead of the gas, or vice versa? Well, if you have, you're not alone. This guy was trying to pull more closely up to a concrete parking stop that was right beside a chain link fence that surrounded the pool, when he accidentally pressed the gas pedal instead of the brakes. As a result, the car broke through the fence, rolled down an embankment, and went straight into the pool, where it became fully submerged in 5.5 feet of water. It is reported that the man's fiancée was also in the car at the time of this unfortunate incident. Luckily, they were both able to crawl out of the car and the pool unharmed. As crazy as this accident is, it actually happens more frequently than you think. I mean, just take a look at all these instances where people drove their vehicles into pools. They may have also pressed the gas instead of the brake. Or they could have been under the influence of some substance, if you know what I mean. You never know. Some vehicular accidents have clear causes, and it is easy to tell why they happened. However, this isn't always the case. Some accidents are so bizarre that they can't even be explained. Take these for example. Vehicles hanging from power lines. How did they get up there? How did the drivers and the passengers get out? Was the driver trying a stunt that went terribly wrong? We'll never know the answer, but what we do know is that this situation is very dangerous. If an active power line falls onto your car, it can charge the car with electricity, which means that you have to be very careful to avoid getting electrocuted. If your car isn't on fire, it is advised that you call 911, stay inside the car, and try not to touch the car's frame. I wonder if the driver and passengers had to stay hanging in that position until emergency services came, or they just jumped out and abandoned the car. This one isn't actually an accident, but our list wouldn't be complete without mentioning the famous truck in a tree. If you're ever traveling through Wisconsin and you end up on Route 43, 8 miles outside the city of Beloit, make sure to stop and take a look at the truck in a tree. The man responsible for this unique attraction is Mark Madsen, also known as the Wisconsin Madman. It all started in 1992 when Mark purchased the 1959 Chevy Fleetside pickup truck for $300 with the intentions of restoring it with his son Luke as a cool father-son project for Luke's 16th birthday. Mark said he didn't really have the time to restore it immediately and wanted to keep the truck in a safe place that he and his son could enjoy whenever they wanted to. So, in 1994, Mark had one of his friends bring a crane to help him put the pickup truck in the tree. Super cool, right? Although this one wasn't an accident, it can definitely cause accidents if you get distracted and take your eyes off the road to look at it. So, make sure to pull over so you can properly enjoy this fascinating attraction. Parking in a driveway can get boring at times, so why not mix it up and park on the roof instead? That's what this driver did. Okay, that's not exactly what happened. This one was a legitimate accident that happened in California a few years ago. It is reported that the driver lives in an area where homes are assembled along a steep hillside. The rooftop you're looking at is located right below the driver's home. It is reported that the driver of the Cadillac was leaving his driveway when he lost control of the vehicle. Apparently, the car was experiencing a mechanical failure, which caused it to plunge off a hill and land directly onto the neighbor's roof below. As scary as this looks, everyone involved managed to walk away unharmed. The driver, his wife, and the resident of the home they landed on did not get injured. Even the car had minor damage. Imagine this. You park your car, get out, and walk to your favorite store. You decide to get some ice cream before going home. But when you walk back to your car, you get the shock of your life. Your car has fallen into a sinkhole. This was the case for a Toyota and a Nissan that were parked outside a business center when they were swallowed by a sinkhole in Russia. Apparently, an underground hot water pipe had burst and it caused steam to start coming from the site of the hole. The piping hot water and the pressure caused the road to collapse suddenly and the two cars fell in. The good part is that there were no serious injuries or fatalities. But the saddest part is that the pipeline supplies hot water that keeps workplaces and homes warm during the cold Siberian winter. This accident caused a huge disruption to the water supply to 21 blocks of apartments and 3 hospitals for an entire day. And this was only one of several other incidents involving sinkholes. The month before this happened, trucks and buses were left stranded after sinkholes opened up in the city streets. As a driver, you already have so many dangerous things to worry about. Now you have to add sinkholes to the list too? Welcome to the future, where automobiles not only drive themselves, but fly too. Okay, but seriously though, how crazy is this accident? I know you're wondering how on earth this vehicle ended up in this position. Well, in the wee hours of the morning, this Nissan sedan was traveling at a very high speed when it hit the concrete divider in the middle of the road. After slamming into the concrete divider, the vehicle flew about 60 feet up into the air before crashing into the second story of this dental office. The car also appeared to be coming from the wrong side. When it slammed into the building, it caused a small fire at the point of contact, which was extinguished by the fire department. It is also reported that the 2 people in the car were taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries. The driver also admitted to using drugs before the crash. So, now it all makes sense. This one may look like a bizarre, unexplainable accident, but it actually isn't. Okay, let me explain. This was actually a Nike ad for a global soccer campaign in Thailand. As you can see, there is a huge billboard with an image of a soccer player doing a kicking motion with his foot. And of course, the purpose is to create the illusion that the soccer player kicked that gigantic ball and it landed on the car. While this may be a pretty smart advertising strategy, it's unfortunate that they had to waste a perfectly good BMW to make it happen. And don't worry, no one was inside the vehicle when it got smashed by the ball. However, we can't say the same for this next one. It looks like the marketing department over at Nike decided to run a similar ad in a different location. But this time, they decided to wedge the ball into the side of a building. This doesn't seem like the best idea, and we can only hope this ball didn't become loose and fall off. This driver had an extremely close call after falling asleep at the wheel. Andy Dangerfield was on his way to college. He was driving along the interstate in Montana one morning when he suddenly drifted off into a slumber. Nothing good ever comes from falling asleep at the wheel, and that was proven in this instance as well. Andy ended up crashing straight into the metal guardrail that sits in the center of the highway. And if that wasn't scary enough, the guardrail pierced his engine, went straight through the vehicle, and exited via the rear window. But wait, it gets even scarier. The 30-yard-long spike of metal came right through the passenger seat and was just inches away from Andy's body. Good thing there was no one else in the vehicle. Luckily, Andy woke up and was able to bring the vehicle to a complete stop before any more damage was caused. The sergeant on scene said this accident was very unusual because the guardrails are designed to crumple upon impact. On the bright side, Andy escaped without any injuries. In fact, he didn't even have a scratch on him. Roads can get slippery for many reasons. There could be ice, snow, water, or loose material causing the surface to become slick and difficult to drive on. However, this road became slippery because of something quite unusual. Eels. Yes, a truck containing 7,500 pounds of slime eels was driving down Highway 101 in Oregon when it lost control. Although the driver didn't crash, the truck's load shifted, and this caused one of the containers of eels to fly across the highway. Shortly after, the other containers spilled too, and caused these animals to be scattered all over one side of the road. It is said that these fish produce tremendous amounts of slime when they're stressed. Considering the circumstances, I think it's safe to say that they were definitely stressed. All this slime covered cars and the road, which caused a chain reaction crash involving 4 vehicles. It is believed that one slime eel can fill a 5-gallon bucket with slime instantly. So just imagine hundreds of them. Workers had to use bulldozers and hoses to clean up the squirming eels, and it took a whopping 7 hours. Thankfully, the people involved in the crash only suffered minor injuries. Do you have any stories of crazy car accidents like the ones in this video? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.